Okay, hi guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Audio Levels channel. Welcome back to another review. Remember playing that game of Operation when you were a kid? And you used to take the thing and you used to take the kidney and you used to put it in the other person? Wait, that wasn't the same game. Anyway, let's throw these little guys out because this is Fio's attempt, and BQEYZ has absolutely smashed that out the park on this system. The earphones are actually pretty good, and this is a little bit of a surprise. I don't know what this company is. I feel like I've seen it somewhere before. Maybe I've reviewed one of these before, but definitely not one of these, the Autumn. So, to continue the story, we need to go back to the start. This is the BQEYZ. Awful name. Change the name, please. This is the Autumn by them, so I'm going to assume that they have a spring, a summer, and a winter, I would hope. Otherwise, they're just kind of randomly naming it. It has a 13mm dynamic driver, and that's a box. So go ahead and look at the box. This is what it looks like inside the box. No, this is what it looks like inside the box, and that's what it looks like under that part of the box. In that part, you get this part, and in this part, you get this part. And I hope that I have not lost any of the parts, because it's going to be very, very easy for me to do that. I think I have already lost one of the parts. Did I lose one of the parts? No, I didn't. It's in the earphone. Okay, we're good to go, guys. There we go. So the other thing you want to see, of course, is going to be the carry case. The carry case, of course, is a cheap generic case. It's a generic case with a generic cleaning tool that they just throw in and nobody uses. This is rubbish, but it's somewhere to keep your earphones. That's perfectly fine if you want to keep it in there. Let's grab this. Look at the effort 7 Hz went with the Timeless. This meaty magnetic box. In fact, it would be worthwhile to stick this on the end there because there's magnets everywhere. I'm feeling a little bit hyper. I've had a couple of monsters right now, and I'm going to be talking a little bit fast in this review. So what do we have here? We have a 13mm dynamic driver earphone with one of the most unique systems I've ever seen for filter switching. Filter switching for me is something that is very controversial. You have earphones that do it very, very poorly. Traditionally Fio, and then you have earphones that do it very, very well, traditionally LZ A7, LZ A4 Pro, both very good systems. This is the latest Fio system, and I think that they've actually managed to get it right on this one. This is from the Fio FD, and I'm probably going to lose all these pieces. This is from the Fio FD, FD7. Do I have them around? No, I don't. I've got them somewhere. It's from the Fio FD7. Basically, the system is that you screw it out of the earphone, you screw it back into the earphone. Did I put them up here? You're going to bear with me for this disorganized review right now. No, it doesn't seem to be there. Oh, there it is, Fio FD7. Okay, so this is how it traditionally goes, guys. You unscrew a filter, and it comes off. And you really fiddle about. You take it off of the carry case, and then you try and line up the threads, and you twist it on, and then there you've changed the sound of your earphones. But then of course you don't want to lose this piece, so then you have to kind of line it back up, and then the threads accidentally sit on the wrong part. That was not by deliberate means. That was actually the biggest problem I've got in this with the size of my hands. And I'm really, really trying, guys. See, there again, I've tried to fasten it on and the threads haven't lined up properly, and I'm worried about stripping the threads. I don't actually think that I can get this back on, so if I can, I'm going to bash Fio in about 5 seconds and rage quit. Yeah, this is embarrassing. Okay, this is the exact same problem. There's a good illustration of the problem we've got. So how have BQEYZ, worst name ever, managed to fix this? Well, they include a small tool here. This is a little magnet, a little stick with a magnet. It's very well made. It's made out of metal. It's got the BQEYZ, worst name ever, in logo inscribed right on it. Very, very nice. Feels very high quality. Feels very fiddly. So how do I change the filters, and why would I change the filters? Well, if you like the stock tuning on this earphone, the tuning filters do not go over the top, and they don't get really, really crazy with the way that they change the sound. It's just slight enhancements in the bass and the treble off of the stock filters. Now you can see that I've changed one of the treble filters already. I was just playing about it before the video. So one side of this is pushing away. The other side is attracting. So if I take the side that is attracting, put it up against, there you have, can I bring it into focus? There you go. This is it, guys. This is where the magic is happening and where the sound is being altered. It's just this tiny, tiny little disc with a change in the, where's it gone? Okay, so we'll forget that happened. I'll find that after this review and probably never ever see it again. So let's just continue, and it's a disaster. I knew this would be a disaster because this is going to be talked about in a second, about how fidgety this is, how innovative it is, but how fidgety it is. Now I'm going to take the normal filter. You can see here, and let me do it close for the camera so you can see the system. This is really, really cool. So it's all done by magnets. I'm just going to take the magnet, place it over the end of the filter, it clips on. Then I take the earphones and I throw them across the table as well. I take the earphones, you can see the hole there, I just place it in and I just sort of wipe away. And that's it, guys. It's held in there really, really solidly. I think that's a really, really cool design. So let's just run through it one more time. I'm going to take the normal filters out, and let's say I want to make the earphone sound just a little bit more bassy. So I'm going to show you how fast this is. Switch that one. I'm going to take the other normal filter out, and I'm going to put that one back in there, wipe it off, take the other bass filter off, and grab the correct earphone and insert a bass. And guys, that is fantastic. That is really, really such a nicer way to do it. And now the big issue that I've got with this is it's a gimmick. It's a gimmick because I've had earphones with these sort of filter switches before, and what I do is when I get the new earphones out of the box, I basically I set them up the way I listen to them for a little while, and then I set them up the way that I want to listen to it. And while we're talking, I'm going to continue to try and fit this file one back in. Oh, have I done it? I've done it. Okay. I'm never touching them ever again. Let's put it over there. Keep it out of mind. You're going to set them up the way that you want to listen to them, and then you're never going to change it ever again. So while it's nice, and it's a simple system, there is a very, very, very minor change in the presentation of the treble or the bass. The other disadvantage to this over something like the LZ-A4 Pro is that the LZ-A4 Pro it has combination switches and other stuff going on that allows you to make a lot of difference to the tuning. This is a $200 earphone, so it's in that sort of price point, and you know, you're going to set this up once and then there's not a significant amount of difference unless you listen to very, very specific music that you're going to be like, oh, today I'll throw on, for this song I'm going to throw on the treble. I admit that you're more likely to do it than you would with the file system, which is a nightmare. But it's also very, very fiddly, and I've probably just lost the other thing. I will never see this again. I'm probably going to watch back on the camera and see where it bounced off to. It is magnetic, so it's probably sticking somewhere. I think that's the problem with this. Now, the good news is that the actual stock tuning of it is very good. It's a very good sounding earphone. It is kind of bass light. Would be the first thing that I would say about it. This is not a bass heavy earphone. It is very balanced, it is very neutral, it is very inoffensive. It is probably better tuned to Asian style music, with an emphasis on female vocals over male vocals, and that sort of less prominence in bass. So it's going to do well on sort of K-pop, J-rock, that sort of stuff. It has very good detail retrieval, separation, imaging, that sort of stuff. It lacks a little bit in soundstage. I feel like there is the treble extension is pretty good. I would say it is almost a treble-ish headphone for fans of treble. And with the treble filters, that it just brings up the air just a little touch and opens up the soundstage just a touch. I mean, you're talking fractions, but it's noticeable, and that refinement is very, very welcome. It's just a shame that I have lost the treble filter now, and it is gone, RIP, and I will only be able to listen to these in normal and bass configurations now. The build quality is something else we should talk about. It's fantastic build quality. It's all metal body, metal nozzles. It's lightweight despite being made of metal. It is reasonably handsome looking. It's a nice departure. I'm actually starting to prefer moving away from these resin headphones at this point. I think they're overdone again. You have resin headphones from $100 to $500 up to $1,000, $2,000. Metal for me is going to stand the test of time, and while they might not be overly impressive looking, they are certainly well made. Let's see what else I've got in my notes about these. Yeah, I think that's about it. It's a neutral, inoffensive sound. It has excellent, as I said, detail, imaging, that sort of stuff. It's lacking in sub-bass response, although the texture in the mid-bass is very, very nice, and it punches quite fast. It's got decent speed. I don't know what they're using for the diaphragm on it. It is a very big diaphragm to be producing such good sub-bass unless there is some sort of coating on it. It sounds very, very good. And now, as always, and as I'm being very well known for right now, there's two elephants in the room, namely 7Hz Timeless and the Tin Hi-Fi P1 or P1 Plus, P1 Pro, whatever they want to call that earphone now. Those two are sonically better. They're just better sounding earphones. This is more similar in terms of tuning, although not quite. The Tin Hi-Fi P1 is got less bass than the 7Hz Timeless. The Tin Hi-Fi P1 is my preferred out of the planers. It still is. To me, the Tin Hi-Fi P1, P1 Plus are the kings, with the 7Hz Timeless a very, very close second. I could see the argument people make for the 7Hz Timeless being better than the P1 if you need that in your arsenal. For somebody who has bass head earphones for specific purposes, I don't really need the bass. I need what this planer can do for me when I'm not listening to bass heavy music. The real comparison comes here. However, when you're talking about the Tin Hi-Fi P1 Plus and P1 or P1 Pro, it is $170-ish now. And I think with that $170, you're going to need to buy at least $100 or $80 to $100 of amplification. You know, whether you pick up a E1DA DAC amplifier, a little inline DAC amp, it needs the extra power to sound to its full potential. And the same in many ways for the 7Hz Timeless, although to a lesser extent than the P1. These are easily drivable. They do have quite a large impedance on it, I believe 38 or 40 something ohms. 40 ohms, I think, maybe. So it's a little bit like higher than average, but I didn't feel like at any point, even driving it out of my iPhone through a regular dongle, did I feel like I was lacking anything. I think overall, cable, let's talk about the cable. I only used the cable a couple of times and then I switched to one of the cables that I really like. This is actually a very, very good cable to be included in the box. The only thing is that around $200 I would have liked to have seen the inclusion of a 2.5mm balanced or a 4.4mm balanced, either in the way of the cable being standardized in such a way or with an adapter included in the box. It's all metal hardware, metal splitters, so I rate this. It's lightweight, but it's kind of tangle resistant. It's kind of nice. That's it for this review, guys. Yeah, it's semi-recessed 2-pin connectors as well. I should probably point that out, which I'm a big fan of when using 2-pin connectors, to put a recess on it, just protect the pins a little bit more. I really like these earphones. I think if it was my money and I had $200 to spend, I think I'm going to be buying the 7Hz Timeless, obviously, but this is very innovative and it is a very good sounding earphone, especially if you like neutrality. And this system is super cool. I think that is going to be something we'll probably see on the way forward, and it's good to see innovation because, you know, Duno innovated with the Hulk cables with their interchangeable adapters. This was an innovation when it first came out. I remember this, was it on the Scumbag Company? What was the Scumbag Company called? Scumbag Company Techni? No, Trinity Audio. Real scumbags. They ran away, I believe, with a bunch of people's money. They had interchangeable switches or interchangeable filters on it. Very similar to this, and I believe there was other earphones before that, but that was a big innovation as well. And I think this is just a nice little refinement on the same technology. It's so simple and so easy to do that it would maybe make me consider, if it wasn't such a minor difference in the listening presentation. I mean, not to continue this review any further than it needs to, but the sound quality on this is very minimal. If you consider let's draw like a flat line. The flat line is the normal response, okay? The normal response to these gold filters. If I put the bass filters on, it kind of just goes like that. If you put the treble filters on, it kind of goes like that. If you put the normals on, it's back like that. It's very basic in terms of what it's doing. There's no way to enhance the bass and the treble, for example, and make it into a V-shaped earphone, which you can do on other adaptive systems, where you can change the filter that will bring the bass up, but then you can also hit a switch that's going to bring the treble up, which really gives you that versatility. And do I want a flat earphone, or do I want a V-shaped earphone? Do I want a U-shaped earphone? You can really refine it and dial it in with things like the LZ-A4 Pro, the LZ-A7. The LZ-A7 is so good and so underrated. This one is just, you basically have 3 settings. You have a curve that kind of goes like that, flat. You have a curve that goes like that, flat, and then you have a dead flat curve. That's essentially what I'm hearing from my ears. So it's not a perfect system. Maybe throw in a couple of switches on this one and you're going to get a lot of different options. So that's it for this review, guys. Thank you again for watching. Sorry it took so long, but I wanted to talk about this because this is a cool concept. It is a cool earphone and it sounds very good as well, very pleasant. So thank you. I've probably had my monster wearing off now, so I'm going to go finish up another review, which is going to be of the TRZR Wave. Another terrible name. I mean, honestly, BQEYZ and TRZK or TRZR. There's no way of pronouncing this. It's just saying letters. It's stressing me out. I'm going to see you on the next video. Subscribe, comment down below. Okay, thanks guys.